Hello everyone and welcome into another video. In today's video, I will be talking about a topic that I've seen basically everywhere, all around the place, on Facebook, Pokemon Go groups, Twitter, Pokemon Go, some content creators saying that. Probably you guys know who I'm talking about. And it's Noctowl. Noctowl is getting a huge buff, where like Wing Attack is moving from being a below average move into becoming the standard move, which is a Vine Whip clone, which is great. But the thing is, Noctowl was already good. So now with like a huge buff, it's gonna become a dominant Pokemon. Like, it's gonna move from a Pokemon that no one use. I mean, like, only like at high MMR games where people are trying to play ABB teams, like, you know, like Noctowl with some Diggersby in the back, into a Pokemon that everyone will either use or run 3 counters to. So, what's like the criteria here to run these stuff? I mean, there is like some different IVs, different spreads. I'm not gonna tell you like, oh, this is the IV you should be powering up, some people, but there is like some notable stuff. Like there is a Wing Attack Breakpoint versus Azu, there's a Wing Attack Breakpoint versus Stunfisk, HP weighted for the Powder Snow A9. How good is this thing? I don't think it's worth it, because you rely on them having basically an Egg IV Powder Snow A9, which almost I wouldn't consider it even good, because I'm always assuming, especially at high MMR, people have good IV, because they will always save their Pokemons to trade until they get a good one, or they will just grind hard for it. Attack weighted for the Mir, because you win CMP, so technically you win the Mir by winning CMP. So, what does these do? Like, why these matters? Sometimes you have more fast move pressure when you have, you know, like a Wing Attack Breakpoint. More HP to get to like basically another charge move. Could be possible in some scenarios, could be not possible sometimes. Sometimes like more HP means more farm for the opponent. I am sure you've been in both scenarios, everyone so far. More HP to get more fast move damage, which means the opposite scenario of the other one. More HP defense to live a charge move, because the higher your defense, the less damage you will take from a charge move. You could say that about HP, but having higher defense is better for the charge moves. HP sometimes is better for the defense is better like for charge moves. HP is better for fast move damage, but both are solid for the stat product. So I'm gonna talk about specific IVs, like, because I'm gonna assume that like people like me who get weather boosted Hoot Hoot Spotlight Hour didn't get a good IV one. I mean, I already have the rank one, but I've been like, you know, like since I stream, and then like I dedicated one stream where I checked every possible good IV for my chat to check. You can stop by my stream at twitch.tv/YasirAli. I'll be leaving in the description. You can come and say hi, and yeah, whenever like between sets you can ask about these IVs, and we can do it live on stream at twitch.tv/YasirAli. So the stuff that I'm actually gonna talk about, the 1-star friendship, which happens to be the rank 1 as well. The 2-star friendship, which means like, okay, is it okay to trade? Like, what are those IVs? Like, if I trade with someone with 2-star friendship, am I gonna get a good one that's worth it? So I'm gonna talk about the rank 1 of each trade. The 4, 13, 15, which is the rank 1 from weather boost when it's weather boosted, and the 6, 14, 15, which is the 4-star friendship, and the rank 1 from eggs. Some IVs which I found out while just checking random IVs for my chat on stream: the 3, 11, 12, the 4, 11, 9. I'm not sure whether it's 4, 11, 9 or 4, 9, 11. The 5, 13, 11. I think 5, 13, 11 and 5, 13, 12 are basically the same. The 12 gets 1 more HP, but doesn't matter that much. But you know, if you can get a better one, why not? The problematic one, the 0, 11, 16 by Swag Tips, which he dedicated like an entire video to talk about this one, and we will go through about it. Naeom, she's a Twitch streamer and a Pokemon Go caster, and she said she had like an argument about this one, which is valid, by the way. She had a good point. Elam, the second winner of the Baltimore Regionals, he said this one was the one he liked the most. So, let's just speak about Noctowl. Noctowl currently, after the buff, is going to become number 6 on PvPoke in the Great League meta. Noctowl is an amazing Pokemon. Like, in the one shield, it wins the one shield, but says 57.5. Sorry, 57. Yeah, 57.5. Technically, it wins more than it loses in the Great League meta. So we're talking about only 39 Pokemons. Oh no, 40 Pokemons, like the top 40. Noctowl beats more than half. That's great. When a Pokemon does that, I mean this Pokemon is too good. And the 0, it beats a 20, draw in 1, and lose to 19. And the 2, it beats a 21, 18. So we're talking about a very kind of a balanced Pokemon, above average because it's above 50% win rate most of the time. 57 here. So it's actually too decent in the 1. And it's a safe Pokemon. It's a very good Pokemon. It was already good, and they buffed it because they needed to buff Wing Attack because most of the Wing Attack Pokemons are useless, like Pelipper, like Charizard. So it was a very needed buff. And if you've been in my stream, I've talked about like the need to buff Wing Attack for like the past 3 seasons, and they finally did, which is great to shift the meta. Like we've been playing the same meta as like since forever. It's always good to change, right? So what's ideal about these stuff? I'm not gonna recommend any here. I'm someone who always prefer the rank 1 because when you spend dust on a Pokemon, you're spending resources that you need to grind, special sometimes for like a week at least. So rank 1 is always the best option, or I'm not gonna say the best, the ideal option, because moves are subjective to change. So let's say I am sure 100% Sky Attack will get nerfed next season because Noctowl is so good right now. I'm gonna say even overpowered. So Sky Attack will be nerfed. They won't nerf Wing Attack because lots of Pokemon needed the buff to Wing Attack. So Sky Attack will get nerfed, right? So Noctowl's win rate is gonna drop based on that. And then like you're gonna go like and decide to build another one. Or you can just build the rank 1 and just avoid all of the problematic IVs. So the first one is the 214-12. Which is the rank 1 you can get from 2-star friendship. How good is this one? What does it pick over the rank 1? It gets more wins. It picks up the Mir and the 2 shield, the Mir and the 1 shield, but it drops Umbreon. So we're talking about the Mir is gonna be like common or basically everywhere. So we're talking about some decent wins and notable loss. And I'm assuming some people's gonna play Umbreon because now Umbreon is a reliable answer to Noctowl, where Umbreon can beat Noctowl with like 1, 2, 3 HP, something like this. What about the 3-star friendship? Well, it beats the Mir and Umbreon, but it dropped the Mir in the 0. Why? Because literally the rank 1 wins with 1 HP. Yeah, that's like, we're like having more attack, less HP is gonna hurt a bit. Is it ideal? I mean, it's still a good option. Like, I wouldn't say don't use it. If you don't have a rank 1, like, you should be using Noctowl regardless because Noctowl is a beast of a Pokemon. The 4-star friendship, no, there's no 4-star friendship. This is like the Withered boosted one. It basically picks up the Azu in the 2, which is huge. Noctowl in the Mir, those in the 2. And the 1, it flips the Stunfisk. Why? Because it gets a Wing Attack breakpoint where it helps it to beat Stunfisk in the 1. I think you land the Shadow Ball and then you go straight Sky Attack after. And Medicham in the 0. This is also a big one. So if you don't have a rank 1, this is a solid option. This is a solid option, and this is a good option. Like, none of these options are bad so far. I'm not gonna tell you, like, oh, this is the best one, and do this one, get this one. No. All of these options are good. Now the attack-weighted ones. Why the attack-weighted one? Look at this one here. The 6, 14, 15, which is basically the rank 1 from 5-star friendship, flips up Azu in the 2, Noctowl, and Noctowl in the Mir. Which means this one beats any Noctowl. The default IV is basically the default on PV poke. Also, the 1 is still guaranteed in the Mir, and the rank 1 Mir, and Stunfisk, drop Umbreon, picks up Medi in the 0, and drops the Mir. So we're still talking about some solid wins. It's not bad. It's actually good. Now, what about the 10 attack? Like, how high I can go with the attack? Look, it still beat Azu in the 2, the Mir, Umbreon in the 2, that's good. Altaria in the 1, that's too good. Noctowl, that's good. Galarian Stunfisk in the 1, that's great. But now it's dropped some funky matchups like Obstagoon, so do I like that? No, I don't like that. Now moving into the 0, you pick up Altaria Medi and the default IV Medi in the 0, that's huge. But you drop Empoleon, Noctowl, Talonflame, Umbreon. So if you are at the elo where people play Talonflame, then I wouldn't say use this one. I'm gonna say this one's bad. if you don't see Talonflame and this is the only possible IV that you have, I'm gonna say go for it. Don't wait. Like, don't wait until you get a better one. It's literally the best, gonna be like one of the best 2 Pokemons in the game. Like, I'm expecting Noctowl, G-Fisk, Registeel to be like the best 3 Pokemons in the next Great League meta, which is gonna be tomorrow or the day this video drops, by the way. Now the common IVs. I think this one's the Swag Tips, this one is Niam, and this one is Elam. So the Swag Tips one, which is like, I tried to talk to Swag Tips, but to be honest, I'd rather talk, like, he just is not gonna listen. He thinks his IVs are the best and there is no point of arguing, and he just doesn't listen and he gets salty. So what do I think of his IVs? Well, it picks up Damir, Noctowl, and G-Fisk. Picks up the Medicham. Well, it's a good IV. It's a good IV spread if you have it. Is it the best option? To be honest, it is no best option so far. Like every IV so far has been good. Like, but am I gonna say that this is the best one? No, it's not the best one. There is, like, it depends on the matchups. Like, as an example, like, the game is not static. The game is not like, okay, this is the lead, my opponent's gonna stay in until I win or they win. I'm not gonna stay until they win. So if I am in a losing matchup, as an example, and I found out that my Azu is gonna lose to their Noctowl in the 2-1, I shouldn't be shielding my Azu. Azu is not there to use shields. I use shields on stuff that requires shields, like Pokemons that are frail and hit hard, like Trevenant, like Scrafty. I need shield for those. Am I gonna shield Azu? I think if you double shield Azu, I think you're in a questionable skill scenario where, like, double shielding Azu, it's not a good idea, my friend. It's not a good idea. So, is it gonna be like the must? Well, sometimes as a Noctowl, you need to flip swap. So it's good that it beats Azu. And it's good that it beats a Stunfisk, but it drops Umbreon, which is a Pokemon I'm expecting to be used most of the time, because I'm expecting Stunfisk and Noctowl to be like a very dominant 2 Pokemons in the meta, and like I'm expecting Umbreon and Registeel to be some soft answers or straight answers. Like Umbreon can beat G-Fisk if you have Dark Pulse, or if you shield an EQ, you can win the one. Again, I don't like shielding Umbreon. I don't think Umbreon should be using shields. But in some cases, sometimes you might need to flip swap. So we're all still like talking about some very specific scenarios and not the main scenario. We're like, okay, I have Noctowl, they have Azu, I'm going to use 2 shields. They will use 2 shields and then they will lose the lead, the matchup. The game is more than just matchup. The game is 3 Pokemons versus 3 Pokemons. It's not just 1 versus 1. So if you have this IV, go for it. But if you don't have this IV, Niam suggested a good IV spread where it picks up not just like Azu Noctowl, it picks up all the Noctowl IVs and Umbreon in the 2. Okay? So if I need to flip swap, I can flip swap against Azu and Umbreon as well. So it's like, here, I cannot flip swap versus Umbreon. I don't win the one versus... This one doesn't win the one versus Umbreon, but again, it beats both Noctowls, the rank 1 and the default IV, and it beats both Medicham, the default IV and the rank 1. It drops Noctowl in the 0 Damir because it's very attack weighted. Like, it has lots of attack, so you're gonna lose some itch. You're gonna like the HP option, but it drops the Talonflame and the Noctowl. So it has some downside, but it also has some good matchups as well. Elam also suggested another IV, which is the 057, which ended up having the same wins and losses as the one that Niam suggested. So if you don't have this one's literally the same. Same wins and flip same games and technically around each other with the stat product. I would say this one is bulkier, the 057, but they're always around the same point. And again, at good or at high MMR, my opponent's not gonna double shield Azu. That's 1. 2, I am not gonna double shield Noctowl. 3, if my opponent has Azu and I have Noctowl and they found out that I have the wing attack breakpoint, they will shield once at max. That's it. I'm sure 99% they won't shield any as well. Because winning the lead sometimes is bad because they will farm you down with their next Pokemon, and when you win the lead, since you fought for it, you're not gonna swap out because you're not gonna risk losing swap when you won the lead. So these like some, you know, scenarios where like, is it actually a good idea to win the lead? But flipping swap is more favorable, and I would say both are like some old way of playing the game. The game is now, especially at high MMR, people tend to no shield lead, no shield swap, and have a Pokemon in the back that they will double shield and rely on getting some good energy like that. Like, I am sure you guys played, let's say, someone who double shielded their Shadow Nidoqueen, or double shielded their Alolan Ninetale, or double shielded something like Medicham, and they went straight for a punch. Straight for a punch, they rammed up their attack, and then they countered like your team all the way. Double shielded their Trevenant. So yeah, these are some common IVs. Like, are those like the best IVs? I think from my understanding, and I talked to YTX Pikachu, he works with PvPoke and Go Battle Log. By the way, these all screenshots are like from Go Battle Log. It's an amazing website where you can just enter the IV. You don't need anyone's advice. You can enter the IV there, and it will show you something like these pictures, where it will tell you what matchup do you drop versus the rank 1 and what matchups you pick. So there were like 3 notables IV spread: the 5-12-13, the 5-11-15, which is the one that Naim suggested, and the 5-13-12. And those were the ones. The 3-11-12 and the 3-12-11 basically around each other's. See, this one, same as Swagtips one. Azo, Noctowl, Stunfisk, Azo, Noctowl, Stunfisk. This one also picked the default IV Noctowl, not just the Noctowl rank 1 and Medi. So this one is a straight upgrade to his IV, the one that he's trying to tell everyone that it's the best IV spread. This one is literally the same wins, even more, not just the rank 1, but also the default IV. The 5-13-12, which is the one I liked the most, because it picks up 2 Medichams, the rank 1 and the default IV, which means it can almost beat the top 100 IV Medi. What does it drop? I don't think it dropped anything. It also picks up the Umbreon matchup in the 2. So this one, I asked my students, because I do coach. You can check my Patreon if you're looking for coaching. I asked my students on Patreon to get this one if they can. Why? Because this one is like a good option to safe swap. Why? Because it can flip swap in the 2 bits. It's some stuff. I mean, Yashiri, you said like people won't swap at high MMR. I mean, people at high MMR, they don't need coaching, okay? I'm telling these for my students who are struggling to hit legend, and last season I was glad like most of my students hit, I mean all of them hit legend, which was something good. So at average MMR, which is like I would say between 2300 MMR to the legend MMR, winning swap is crucial, because in most of the games you just try to fight to win swap to win the game, and people stay in a losing matchup. So that's why the Swagtips IV one could be good. Again, I have nothing against anyone, but when you're telling me the one you have is the one do you best because you what do you call the word? The sample size is just the people around you elo. That's not like, you can't just generalize an idea based on a sample size when you just don't play the game, and the only games you play are like just sims on PvPoke. The game is more than just sims. The game is more than just matchup, okay? The game is 3 Pokemons against 3 Pokemons. It's not just like this Pokemon versus this Pokemon. Okay, I won the lead, I won the game. No. When you win the lead, sometimes they will farm you down again, and then you will lose the game because they get lots of farm on a Pokemon that doesn't get walled, like Sableye. Like, as an example, if you give Sableye 2 Shadow Claw, Sableye doesn't lose to anything unless they have a Charmer and 2 Shield. There is no Pokemon can beat Sableye with that. So, the game is more than just a IV spread, shield scenario, win swap, win the game. It's more than that. The 4-9-11 also picks up the same wins, but it dropped the Talonflame. So if you are at the elo where people play Talonflame, which is, I believe, Talonflame exists between 2100 MMR to 2700 MMR a lot. It's like one of the main flyers there. I would not recommend this one. See, I'm just telling you this based on what you see. If you see Talonflame, no, this IV spread is bad. If you see Talonflame, don't use this one. If you don't see Talon Flame, this one could be like the best one you could have, or the only one you have. Reliable. So the two, another two, like the ones, I think I talked about the three. Yeah, the 3-12-11 and the 3-11-12. Both are kind of the same stat product, one more defense or one more HP. But this one, the 3-12-11, doesn't beat Azu in the 2. The 3-11-12 does beat Azu. Why those two is like kind of the preferred ones? Because they get the Azu and the G-Fist breakpoint while maintaining a high stat product. Which is, again, stat product is like, doesn't change with the moveset. Moveset are always subjective to change whenever, like, as an example, I'm telling you again, Sky Attack will get nerfed next season because this Pokemon is just too strong. The Pokemon was already too good, and then they get a huge buff, and now it's straight OP. And to nerf it, they won't nerf Wing Attack, they have to nerf basically Sky Attack, which will always end up nerfing Altaria and Skarmory, which should be, to be honest, because Altaria is just everywhere, and I am sure at one point last season everyone was molded because there is so many Altarias in the meta where they play. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Again, I have nothing against anyone. If you have any of these IVs, they are all good. The ideal IV is always the rank one because it's the one that will stay forever and you never need to change it. Those IVs are another option to use. So if you have those, you can use them. If you have the rank one, you can use it. It's always up to you. Don't just be like listening to someone who's not even, who doesn't even want to change his mind. So again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's most of the IVs that came to my mind by streaming for 3 hours, checking every possible IV that my chat posted at my live stream. Make sure to check the live stream, that's one too. Yeah, special thank to go to PvPoke, and there is Go Battle Log if you want to sign up. I talked to them and they gave me $1 discount. I think it's instead of 5, you pay like 4 or 4.5. I am not sure. But yeah, you can use my link, gobattlelog.com/YSR, and you will get a $1 discount. It's like they have a crazy tool, like it's a very solid tool, which I use to check the IVs for every Pokemon when I don't have the rank one, and you can go there by yourself and check, and believe me, you won't need anyone's help. You won't need anyone's help. Just go there, check it, and you will make the decision by itself. You will see the matchups here, like as an example, the wins in green, the losses in red. You'll be like, okay, I don't see this Pokemon, I see this Pokemon, I should be going for this one over this one. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and if you like the video, make sure you leave a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, if you have any feedback about these videos, I know I've never made them, but I had to make them because yeah, so one person is making a drama every season about some IV spreads, which wasn't right, which was wrong most of the time. As an example, last season when he made the Walrein IV spread, because he made like the what was the thing? He said that you need this IV spread on Walrein to beat Azu, but the thing is, Azu disappeared from the meta when Walrein exists, and Nido became a thing, and then the rank 1 Walrein was the only Walrein that can beat Nidoqueen down a shield, like 0 shield versus 1 shield with 1 HP. So he was subjective to change his IVs. But yeah, same with his old IV about Machamp, I guess, to the Shadow Machamp, when he said you need the 5 attack, which turns out to be a bad idea because you literally die in the 2 to the Wing Attack, where if you have 0 attack, like high stat product, you could get to another move. And again, there is always a shield scenario. There is always a scenario where your opponent is gonna catch your charge move on a Pokemon that resisted. Okay, how about that? Again, the game is more than just a straightforward matchup versus a matchup. Win the game. And yeah, you should be able to hopefully you should be able to make your own decision on any IV you want. I would always say use the best one you have. And yeah, that's it for today. If there is a Pokemon you would like to know, just come by the stream. You don't even need to go and check, and I will show it to you live on stream how to use Go Battle Log or PvPoke, because when I started making the channel, I made it so I can educate the people who don't know how to use the tools so they can improve at the game. And yeah, that's all I want. Just see my viewers, my chat, Witcher chat, improving at the game and becoming the best at playing this game. Yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. This is the end of the video, and see you in the next one. Peace.